Deadlands, and then mudded.
Hello, hello, hello. We're off again. They're wittering away, but we'll get them going. So, off we go again. Now, I seem to recall that last time you were headed back to town.
We were, I think.
You had finished fighting all the baddies.
We'd finished fighting all the gribbly things. We'd
Yes.
told everybody in Carter how wonderful we were. And then we were going back to Heaston Hill
hmm
so that we could listen into any other weird rumours and go other places. I believe there was something spooky going on at Gunsight, though we didn't get any information about it. Looking at the investigator tabs.
Yes, I'm going to have to look at that right. That's what I was just looking at right now myself.
So Mercy would have stayed back in Heaston Hill since I wasn't here. Am I assuming correctly?
Yeah, I think you were tidying up the house.
I doubt that. I was probably hiding out in my hotel going, oh, you buy that creepy old house.
So, Gunsight.
I might have taken the opportunity to walk around town and listen for any gossip or anything that might be useful.
So, having found the Ghost Steel gang, we were getting information on where he had wandered off.
Well, we got given a bit of paper. Where is it now?
That's exactly where I was. I'm sure I saved it, but maybe not.
Oh, yes. Yes, you don't know what's going on in Gunsight, but yeah, something's going on in Gunsight. Also,
something was going on. Yeah, but we don't know what.
Yeah.
Really
Okay.
increased.
Yeah, we got we got a bit of paper with the code for
Oh
the
yeah,
safe.
yeah. I've got it. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
Buckles Reggie's code, and then the back of it.
Yeah, there's a secret society in Heaston Hill, but Heaston's not part of it.
See, that was probably that one, wasn't it?
That's the one.
Yes.
Last bit you got. Yeah, and I'm looking for.
That last bit looks like the combination to a safe.
Oh, we know it's a combination to a safe. It's the combination of the safe that I already broke into.
Yeah. We later found the key for. Now we've got the combination.
Didn't we determine that it was a key safe, not a combo safe, so that couldn't be the same safe?
It was both. It had a key and a combination.
Ah, okay.
So if wait a minute, if the only clue that they gave us is a combination to safe, presumably the next clue is in already. We've already got it and the safe paperwork.
I'm guessing so.
Greetings. Aha!
Because I think the key that we got to the safe was basically it was the safe's cylinder. Because it was a weird shaped key thing. It was the cylinder, so you put the key in and then you use that as the cylinder for the safe.
So and that's what led us to Denver Pacific Railroad. Somebody which we've already sorted.
Well, we've sorted something with Denver Pacific, and we know that Heaston was hiring people to
He's got there's a
screw it up. Yeah,
there's a 500 certificate, 500 share bearer bond.
yes,
For a definite
in Wasatch.
Aye.
Yes. Why not?
So we do probably need to go to Gunsight and find out what's going on there, though it is quite a way out. But before that, we'll have to go back to Heaston Hill, buy some Ghost Rock for you to power your infernal engine, because that'll get us there quickly.
Okay.
But it
yeah.
still doesn't tell us what happened to Reeg. All we know is that he was investigating this secret society.
So
Though-
aye. So Ned Little was supposed to be in tight with Heaston.
Yes. And we've got that thing that went back to the dance hall to speak with Clovis again, but he was in his cups and even less coherent than last time. So Clovis might be a lead to this secret society. So maybe somebody should go and have a chat with Ned Clovis. Somebody should, Ned Little. Somebody should go and find out who Clovis is. Ask around in Heaston Hill, buy some Ghost Rock, and then drive off to Gunsight to sort out whatever the problem is over there.
So is that mind control then? Is it?
What, the cult thing, secret
No.
society?
No, Clovis. At one point, he realised I was watching him, and he looked at himself in the mirror as if seeing his own face for the first time. A distorted, high-pitched cry wiggled out of his throat, not like any sound I've ever heard before.
I don't know. Unless he's a pod person that's grown out of a plant, like we had
Well,
in our...
Well, literally, Juan might have just discovered this when he fell out the window on a plant,
Mm.
and it got up and decided to have a walk across the garden and a half.
Have you ever been around the Herald enough to be present when they see their face the way it really is instead of the way the Manitou illusion remakes it?
No.
Yeah.
Why? So maybe he's possessed, or maybe he's dead.
Well, he might be. If he's one of the Herald, he's already dead. So he's got a Manitou controlling him. And then I look pointedly over at the sheriff,
Marshall?
marshal, sheriff. They all wear them little tin badges.
Aye, so that's two things we need to find out why Gunsight's going bad, and find that guy.
We do indeed.
We do, unless we get something out of the land claims office. It must be something more to Heaston.
Yeah. Well, you're the rich one, so it makes sense for you to go to the land office. Don't even know who Clovis is, but I'm sure we can ask around town and find out who Clovis is.
Gunsight's a hell of a trip, though, isn't it?
It is. But I have a feeling if we don't keep on top of rumours round Uinta County, things will spiral out of control.
But so we're in Heaston Hill right now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because we got back. So why don't we just find this Yuri guy, and then before we take off?
What Yuri guy?
Clovis. Sorry, Clovis.
Clovis, yeah. Yeah. If some of us go and have a chat with Ned Little and some of us find this Clovis guy, then we can set off to Gunsight, because that's quite a way.
Well, I've got an idea of how we might get there faster.
Yeah?
It's a bit kind of deranged, though.
I'm not entirely sure I want to be dealing with any derangements of yours.
See, we've got slippery skateboardy ghost rock oil, and we've got a fair amount of ghost rocks. So if we crush the ghost rock into grit and mix it with the oil and then spray it on the tires of the car might fly. It'll be a bit gritty bang bang, but we'll get there quick.
I've got to give him one for that.
Now, while I know that you like to take a bite of the ghost rock and find it truly scrumptious, and it would get us there toot sweet, I'm not entirely sure that that's the kind of thing that we should be doing.
I wish I was that fast. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. So, you've just calculated it's 62 miles to the gun site then?
I have, yes. But we need to hunt down Ned Little and Clovis first. We know where Ned Little is, and the guy with all the money should probably go and talk to him.
Okay, so first things first.
So 38 miles, I make it.
Well, 38 miles if you go straight, yes.
Yeah.
62 if you follow the road.
Yeah,
Mormon
so
Trail.
I could do it in half the time, theoretically.
Straight is also across mountains, so even if you do your little gritty bang bang thing, you're going to be risking flying into a mountainside.
Important safety tip. Do not fly into mountains.
I'm not so sure I don't trust that whole theory either.
Hey, I'm going to say you're having this conversation in your rented property early in the morning.
Sensible.
There's a knock at the door.
I shall go to the door and see who's at the door.
Hey, yes. Just
Is
wondering
there
myself
somebody at
now.
the door?
There's somebody at the door.
The door.
It's Crop Bags.
Right. Okay, standing at the door is someone you recognise. Last time you saw him, he was pointing his gun at a family of the miners' family.
So that's
Yesterday.
one of the Heaston. That's one of the Heaston boys, isn't it?
Yes. Obviously, whether he's recognised you or not doesn't seem to matter. He just looks as you answer the door. He goes, "Morning, stranger. My father, Dream Heaston, would like to say howdy over at the main office. Over at his office on Main Street."
Is that so?
He's expecting you at your earliest convenience, and with that, Maxim walks off.
Well, would you look at that? Mr. Heaston would like a word with us at our earliest convenience. Well,
What time of the day, night are we on here?
Morning.
Do we think it's convenient now, or should we go about the business we was going about anyway, and then go off to gun site and leave him waiting? Well, somebody talk to me, will you?
So what are we going? Are you going to go and see the guy first?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, the fella that was shooting up miners did say at
He
our
didn't shoot
earliest
him up. He only pointed his gun.
Okay, that was threatening the miners. Did say at our earliest convenience. Now, since we've got things to do and then we want to go to gun site, our earliest convenience might be tomorrow or the day after, so it might. Or do you think that Mr. Heaston is the kind of fella that when he says at your earliest convenience, he means if you don't come now, I'm going to make your life a living hell?
It is probably.
Isn't Houston the reason no one can carry guns in this town?
No, that'd be the marshal.
Well, you see, the funny thing is, right, if there's supposed to be a secret society and it's not Heaston, I mean, going in and seeing them could eliminate it quite quickly, albeit at gunpoint, but...
I don't think that shooting the richest man in town is a particularly good idea.
No, shooting me is a bad idea.
His office on Main Street is the mining office.
Yes.
I think you were planning to head to anyway, weren't you?
We were, but we were intending to go and speak to Ned Little there.
Mm.
We might kill two birds with one stone, as it were.
Can we stop with the trying to kill people, please?
I wasn't trying to kill anybody. It's just an expression. Don't you have that expression in Ireland?
Oh, I'm well aware of the expression, but you seem to take this kind of thing a little bit more literally than I'm, well, completely comfortable with.
So why don't we find that guy, that Clovis guy that the notes talked about, and see if we can find Clovis and butter him up a bit?
I think yes. Let's go and find this Clovis fella first, and let Mr. Heaston cool his heels at least for a little while. And should he make any complaints, we will point out that the invitation was at our earliest convenience, and it wasn't convenient for us to come any earlier. So then, I wonder where we might find this Mr. Clovis, so I do. I will lean out the window and see if there are any passers-by on Bridger Street.
So in the morning, probably at this end of the street, possibly not.
And any on First Avenue?
There's probably some people heading into the Aspen Lounge, but that's not necessarily.
In which case, I shall make my way along First Street and... excuse me, top of the morning to you, ma'am. You wouldn't happen to know
It wouldn't be
by...
it would. Aspen Lounge is the watering hole frequented by outlaws, drifters, and strangers. So I doubt it's very.
Well, I'm sure there are other people walking up and down the street, and who's to say an outlaw, drifter, or stranger couldn't be a lady?
Indeed. Can I have some notice checks, please?
I think my extra die needs to be turned off, but I did pretty well there anyway.
25. No, you didn't notice anything. No.
Because the D8 aced, as did the D6.
Good. So yes, you got the raise. You did notice that just as all of you started walking down First Avenue, two individuals stopped leaning against the fence posts of the house next door and are slowly walking down the street behind you, talking to each other.
Oh, in which case, since there are some people walking down the street, I will turn to them. Top of the morning to you, gentlemen. How the very devil are you today?
They do have the they do have the appearance of being hired guns, of course, without guns because guns aren't allowed in.
Indeed.
Well, indeed. We're just here to make sure you don't get lost on your way to Mr. Heaston's appointment.
Oh, don't you be worrying. We won't get lost on the way there when it is convenient for us to go. Tell me, you wouldn't happen to know a fella by the name of Clovis, would you?
Mr. Heaston would be able to answer that question for you. He would find it very... Sure. It would be very inconvenient if you don't attend sooner rather than later.
Well, it might be for him, but, you know, I
think you misunderstand.
Our earliest convenience.
Indeed, and we're here to point out how convenient it is for you to go now.
Tell me, young man, are you making some kind of threat?
Mr. Heaston wouldn't want us to threaten you in any way, shape, or form. But accidents do happen.
Oh, I hear that they do. I very much hear that they do. I shall say.
Hello,
Turn
Scotty.
my
How are
back on
you,
him and
sir?
walk away.
Scott W. Sorry, bad coloration. Fair enough.
So I wonder where we might find this Clovis fella then. I shall say to my compatriots that I'm wandering down the street with.
Krista just looks at him with one eyebrow raised, shrugs. You're like one of those little terrier dogs, you know that, Patrick? You get something or you're worrying on it and you just don't let it the hell go. Not even when it seems to be a good idea.
I think it was the dance hall it was mentioned in his note, wasn't it? Now, where's the dance hall? I can't remember which. That's on Smith Street, so it is, isn't it?
Someone will direct you to the dance hall on the edge of the red light district.
Well, that's one. I will wander down there. Yeah. Is it open?
Must be nice.
Hey guys, something has come up. I'm going to have to bow out.
Okie dokie. Problem. And there were 4. See you next week.
Ta.
So yeah.
All the
Better.
sane ones left.
Number 10. That's on the edge of the red light district. Number 10 down here, just off Smith Street.
Yes, on Smith and Third.
Is that where the red light district is? Then must be.
Well, I'm guessing it's not on Smith Street because number 8 is the church.
Exactly. This is what I'm thinking. It's got to. Well, unless it's this area here, isn't it? You've got the fire department, the Emporium, the Houston Mining Company, the Undertaker. I don't know where. It's just this one line just saying, located at the edge of the red light district. It's like, hang on, that's the first I've heard of a red light district.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's I know where that is. That's what's that house of the tea room?
It might be the block that it's actually sitting in because that block encompasses the
Gambler's Paradise,
the
Music
Cowboy
Saloon. Yeah.
The doctor.
Yeah, I was thinking that. You see the doc, but he's on the other side.
Hmm.
The Music Hall Saloon, famous.
The Red Door Saloon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Ramshackle Affair. It's patchwork. The Red Door was the town's first saloon. In fact, again, it doesn't seem to indicate
when
that.
we moved in, we were looking for somewhere to live, and there was some kind of lodging house that we thought, oh, that sounds a bit, and then thought, oh no, it's not that type of lodging house.
Yeah,
there was a lodging house, wasn't there?
That only rented by the hour.
It only rented by the hour. We thought, oh, we better not stay there.
The Whispering Pines Fancy House, number 57, which is directly opposite.
That's the one, yes.
Dance hall. So maybe that's it.
Yeah.
On the
ladies' boarding house is next door to the dance hall, whereas the dancers come beyond and engage in brief assignations in the private rooms. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy an hour's companionship for $10, or a whole night for $50.
Wow.
It's run by Maura McGillicuddy.
Sounds like a good, God-fearing Irish woman, so she does.
She's born in Dublin.
Well, there you go, you see? Absolutely right. I might have to go and pay her a visit and say hello.
Right, anyway, so you're going to the dance hall.
Yes.
I'm going to follow him.
Okay, so located at the edge of the red light district. Paul B. Oh, I'm not coffee already. Located at the edge of the red light district, dance halls always floated respectability while turning a blind eye to debauchery. Apparently. Plain old dances are 50 cents, as is a drink. But a quick two-step in one of the 16 upstairs runs to $2. Overnight stays aren't allowed. See Whispering Pines for that sort of thing.
Right.
Okay. Why are you going to see? Why are you going to see him? I've forgotten. You see.
Because there's a note. There was a note about Clovis at the dance hall, looking a bit weird. So we want to have a look at him.
Yeah, because we got the clues to the safe. We've already opened the safe, so we looked at the paperwork that was in said safe and a rake through it at the beginning to see if we could find any names on it. And Clovis's name came up.
Yeah,
because
went
he
back
was
to
a
the dance hall to speak with Clovis
Yeah.
again, but he was in his cups and even less coherent than last time.
yeah, and apparently couldn't recognise himself in the mirror.
Just checking.
It's just because that last note says obviously we've got to go and see in Heaston, but somebody says they said it's a secret society, but it's not Heaston. So hence why we're like, let's just not go and talk to Heaston just yet until we find out more information of who, you know. Otherwise, we're going to that conversation. We don't have any leverage.
So, okie dokie. Yeah. So you dance hall is always life. Well, it's a dance hall, so it's probably entertainment. So it's probably closed up during the day, isn't it? This early in the morning.
Oh yes, I'm going to hammer on the door with the end of my stick there.
Okay. The door is open. I'm just reading ahead here. Hello, how may I assist you today?
I'm looking for a fella by the name of Clovis, so I am. You wouldn't know one by any chance, would you?
I just saw what you said, Scott. Yes, I'm dropping like flies today. Clovis, Mr. Clovis is unavailable. You can speak to his wife if you wish, Kitty.
Well, very well. I'm sure anything that I could ask of the man, I could ask of the wife. What source for the goose is source for the gander, and all of that sort of thing.
Indeed. I should go and fetch the lady. And then he closes the door in your face.
You know, folk in this town are really terribly polite. By which I mean they're terrible at being polite, so they are.
He had a bit of a English twang to him, did that one. The door opens again, and a woman, doesn't terrible telling me how old of them are, but anyway, she opens the door, she turns around and says, thank you, Earl, and Earl bows and walks away. You notice he doesn't go too far away and goes, how may I help you, lady, gentleman?
Well, I'm looking for a fella by the name of Clovis, so I am.
Indeed, my husband. I'm afraid he's not available at the moment. Can I help at all?
Well, I certainly hope that you might be able to. You see, my friends and I have come to town looking for Mr. Len Buckles, who is, well, from what we can gather, is late of this town. The poor fella owed us some money, you see. He had, we'd invested in the mining that he was doing, and well, there are certain back payments that haven't been made, and we've come here to. But anyway, that's no matter. He had a note that he was involved with a gentleman by the name of Clovis, and it seems that your husband would be the only gentleman by the name of Clovis in town. And I was hoping to speak with him, such that I might be able to, see if he had any idea where we might be able to find Mr. Buckles or what his haunts were around the town.
Let's be trying to find the bloody note himself. Just to refresh my memory. I know it was obviously the one you found inside the safe, wasn't it? So it's going to be a handout. Probably you just found those ones. That's interesting because you. Locals at the spy. Oh, you got that one.
It's handout I.
I went back to the dance hall to speak with Close again, but he was in his cup and even less coherent than last time. At one point, he didn't realize I was watching him, and he looked at himself in the mirror, seeing his own face. Oh yeah, yes, indeed, yes, that explains everything.
So most of what I've said has been made up out of whole cloth, but I'm just wanting to.
Yes, indeed.
Find a way to speak to Clovis.
Yes. She goes, as I say, he's unavailable at this time. Has been for a while. I'm not sure when he will be available. Notice checks.
Tell me, is there something wrong with your good husband, madam?
She's dead. It's dead.
No, she obviously just seems a bit tired and flustered. You get the distinct impression. You get the impression that she's obviously she's not necessarily concerned about anything to do with him. In fact, is the impression you get. Almost, she sounds almost like she's. Maybe he's just a good for nothing and he's got vanished somewhere, but it's just sort of, yeah.
Well, I am very sad to hear that your husband is. Is he not himself, or is when you say he's not available, is he gone elsewhere?
He's indeed. He's just really. He's not worth talking to at the moment. I think it's the simplest thing to say.
Oh, I've known more than one man that way inclined. If you don't mind me being so indelicate, are we saying that he is, shall we say, prone to sampling the wares from behind the bar?
He just yeah. Well, I've never really seen him. Well, he just sits there holding the cup. I don't think he drinks out of it.
Now that is mighty strange. Have you had the doctor take a look at him?
Just it's not worth worrying about. It's just not worth worrying about, really. I think the problem is just useless these days, obviously. But anyway, times are ticking, businesses to run and all that, and times are ticking, businesses to run and all that, and come and see me. We need to sort out the paperwork in my office, she says, giving a meaningful look at Earl. Stands up and comes wandering over. As the door shuts, you can't help but notice that Earl seems to be frantically trying to grasp at her clothing as they're closing the door in their hurry, in their speed to be away.
Well, I have a feeling that young lady there might be getting involved in things outside of wedlock, but I wouldn't want to speak ill of a married woman like that. So,
You just did.
were I the kind of fellow that would say the sort of thing, which obviously I'm not, I might suggest that she was possibly poisoning her husband, such that she's keeping him insensible, so she can have a dalliance with that English fella there. So I might, but not being that kind of person, I would never ever be wanting to say that kind of thing. We might want to have a word with our friend the doctor about having a look in on Mr. Clovis. Just check just exactly how well he is. I wonder if he'd be available this morning just to have a wee word with. What do you folks reckon?
I reckon we go find this other guy in Heaston.
Well, I suppose Mr. Heaston did see fit to send two burly fellows to make sure that we went to speak with him straight away, by way of absolutely not threatening us in any way, shape, or form. So I'm sure you want to go and slap him round the face or something like that, then, Miss Van de Graaf. So lead on then.
Okay.
You know, Pat, we have issues.
Okay, number 24 takes you to... Number 24 is the Heaston Hill Mining Company. Lucky fellows. Headstone. The summon. Okay, at the mining office, you see the man that you believe to be Jerome Hinston is sort of poring over what looks like financial documents with another man who you will later find out is his attorney, Angus Dial. Angus Dial? Deal? How do you spell that? It's obviously German. D-H-E-H-L, isn't it? Because Dial? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. Heaston looks up and greets each of you warmly. He introduces you to Mr. Deal and welcomes you. He welcomes you to his town with the skill of a career politician. Max hangs around. His son Maxim is hanging around on the front porch with a few extra boys, conspicuous in their attendance, but not really be threatening. Offer you a whiskey? I'm not looking to be friends, but I reckon you ain't either. But we each have our own business here in town. Misunderstandings happen, but there's no need for it to escalate. That's why I figured I'd invite you over, say hello, and make sure there's a line of communication should our agendas ever run at cross purposes.
Ladies first, I shall say.
Houston turns his head to Mercy.
I'll take the whiskey.
Angus pours you a whiskey.
I'll have a whiskey too.
Okay. Mr. Heaston raises his... well, obviously he's in sore inside wearing his hat, but he shows slight deference to you, Mercy, as a member of the female persuasion.
Nice, that will work. I take it and I nod politely and femininely.
Because I'm sorry, no one here has thought to introduce us. He says, holding out a hand to you.
The lady's perfectly capable of introducing herself, so she is.
I shoot Patrick a shut the fuck up look. And I turn back to Houston and go, pleased to make your acquaintance. Say, I'm Mercy Vancouver.
Indeed. Have you known these? And what brings you to my little town?
Well, I'd been traveling about the West a bit, trying to find something that I wanted to possibly invest in or settle down with, and I met
Well,
them on the road and kind of been, numbers matter out here in the West,
Well, indeed. Well, when it comes to investments, I obviously, being a mining town and obviously running the largest mining company in these here parts, you couldn't do far worse than invest in my little mining operation. He says with a patently, almost patently fake-looking smile upon his face. But obviously, you can't hide the glint of additional money in his coffers, as it were. Goes, oh, well, good return on investment, I assure you. But pleasure to meet you, Mum. And he turns to whoever wishes to introduce themselves next.
I'll
You
just
don't-
look him and I'll just
Okay,
look him and
money.
nod.
Yeah,
My
sorry,
name's Harper. My name's Harper when it's not professional. As for
indeed, I do believe I saw you and your fine lady as performance last night. Most interesting, most intriguing.
Oh, she's not my lady. She's very much her own girl, but I will pass your regards on to her. She was somewhat indisposed this morning. As for investments, I've already, I have an investment into a mine, a miner by the name of Buckles, who appears to have gone missing, which is a terrible shame because I'm trying to hunt him down, partly to do with my investment, so I am. With you owning the largest mine in the area, and I did meet your son Maxim when I was out up on the. Yes, he seemed to have quite an interest in a mine that you didn't own yourself. I believe.
You let's have a notice check on that one. Anyone else want to? Okay, we've got a 5, a 9, a 4, and a 1. Are we happy with those?
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need. There is you do detect a definite scowl that crosses his face before he manages to control it and hide it quickly. But he was definitely scowling at his son at that time, giving the impression that maybe his son was being a little overzealous, or maybe even not necessarily handling things the way Jerome would have wanted it. Jerome would have wanted it handled. You're not sure, but obviously there's something. Definitely that incident there is obviously a sore point with him at the moment.
Or maybe just pissed off that he got caught.
Possibly. And maybe he just very good at pretending to fail dice rolls when in fact he wants to.
Mm.
That just leaves Mr. Watt.
Yeah. So, I'm John Watt, of the Scottish Watts of the you've heard of the steam gauge on the train, the one with the screws, not the welding. That's me. I made that.
Fascinating. You're of a technical mind, are you? A sound technical mind, are you, sir?
Indeed. The railway companies are still paying for it. They've leased the invention.
Indeed. Well, indeed. That's most fascinating to hear, and indeed, I think obviously these inventions are a boon to the opening up of the frontiers and allowing us to find more and more ghost rock strikes like in these here parts.
Can I ask a question?
You just did.
Can I ask another? You just did. So I'm just curiosity, obviously, because the mines dug out an awful lot of ghost rock. I don't know, $200,000 worth. So you must have extended the mine. And obviously, to extend the mine, you must have needed the land to extend the mine. How did you go through your land acquisition process? Did you fill in Form 41B7 and for each application for each parcel of land?
Mr. Jerome glances over at Angus at this point and says, I assure you that every single land acquisition is completely legal and above board, and all the paperwork has been filled out by my lawyer over here. He says, craftily sort of implying that if anything wasn't done, then obviously it's the lawyer's fault and it is no way his. But indeed, if you have any concerns along those types, we maybe we can discuss them in future. But there is something I need to press upon you. I need you to all understand that this is my town, lock, stock, and barrel. I know why you're here, more or less. And it ain't a thing that crawls or flies over this town I don't know about. And as you've admitted, you are looking for Len Buckles, though I'm sure that's not his real name. It's a rare individual who carries a Gatling pistol, and Elmer Blaine down at the Aspen Lounge just added one to his collection. If I were looking for the man who used to own it, I'd reckon I'd start there. So, there you go. Some friendly help. Perhaps you can repay the favour someday.
Are you suggesting that we might like to make veiled threats in your general direction at some point then, Mr. Heaston?
He goes, I'm not making veiled threats, I'm just reminding you that it's my town, he says with a smile.
Ah, right. So unveiled threats it is then. Well, maybe one day we'll make them in your direction too.
But
Top
I
of the
have,
morning to you, sir.
I shall let you know if I ever need you to repay the favour one day. But thank you very much. Don't dawdle on your way out. In the meantime, I will look forward to our next meeting. Okay?
Interesting.
It's kind of glad that you know that you fill in all the paperwork for your land claims, because have you seen the stories in the newspapers?
Which newspaper to which are you referring? I am sure you will find that at this point he desperately realises he's closed the page he's looking for, and I can't remember the name of the newspaper. The Tarrytown Gazette. I know that's not its real name. I know it's got Tarrytown Chronicle or something, isn't it? I know.
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm talking about because I do it because obviously I get paid. I got my contacts from landowners through doing land acquisitions, right? So I'm blowing the thingy, but what I'm saying, basically saying and not saying it, is he basically turned up and pointed guns at people and jumped claims.
Of course he did, but he's not going to admit that, is he?
Yes.
And I can't remember. I'm just trying to remember the name of the bloody newspaper store. The newspaper around here, the one he owns, you see.
Yeah,
obviously
the one that writes his stories, not the one that he closed down.
Yeah, exactly.
Heaston Hill Examiner.
The Heaston Hill Examiner. Really? I
Which
do
is all
not.
swings in. Yes,
Yeah.
that's all nice. Yeah.
Strange. I do not recall reading any stories along on that in our paper, the Heaston Hill Examiner. He says, but maybe your sources are incorrect. Good day.
Mercy winks at him and thanks him for the whiskey, sets her glass down, and leaves.
Aspen Lounge.
Well, as we leave, I shall turn to Mercy and say, well, I wonder if the fella's a widower. He seems exactly your type, so he does.
Oh, and what type would that be in your estimation, Patrick?
Brash, ballsy, willing to kick somebody's arse just to get what they want. Control freak.
A survivor, you mean?
I didn't say that. So, the Aspen Lounge has got a Gatling pistol, has it?
Apparently so.
No,
Aye, so what?
not exactly a unique thing, but I suppose we could go and have a look at it. You could always compare it to yours now, couldn't you?
Do we have any, indication if he had marked his gun in any way so we would recognize it as his?
Not that I'm aware of.
Might be something that Watt can recognise. They might. What?
What?
You might be able to tell us who made something with your technical savvy on this subject.
Well, what I mean, you can make. I can make handguns.
Yeah, you can. I can't. But you might be able to see who made one. You might understand who built it.
And when I say make handguns, I don't mean as in, here's nothing, I'll make it. What I'm saying is, you get enough bits, you can make a handgun.
Okay, point taken. Shell's big enough. But yeah. Right. So I
Taking
was just
points off of.
no. I was just drawing pointers on a map. So, yes, okay, it's not an inch wide, but who cares?
Oh, you're talking about the pointer. Yeah, exactly. It's not. You got to get the proper cone template.
Well, yeah, if you want to try coding it, be my guest. I gave up years ago. I gave up years ago trying to make a strafing template for Weird War.
Strafing template. What's that?
For strafing. It was frustrating. Yes. Didn't we ask this question before? And the idea was the width of the arrow is the same as the stream, or something like that.
Pretty much.
Say that Creel.
Pretty much. Let's put it like this. Moon Wizard took one look at it in the past when someone else was asking about creating new templates, and he basically implied they weren't going to bother because it's too bloody complicated.
Yeah.
They didn't create that code, don't forget that code. How they got it into Unity, I don't know. But the original code was all written in C.
Well, Dulux Oz has written a whole load of a whole article, a load of stuff on the forums years ago about.
Yeah, if you really want to do spline mathematic calculations, yes,
that's what they are. Yeah, that's what the
if you
cones
want,
and all that are.
yeah. So you like I said, if you really feel the need to have a proper
I'm
one
going
inch street
to
template,
go and get a degree in astrophysics, then I shall just come in and just rewrite it all in 3 minutes. Yes.
Indeed, yes. In the meantime,
John,
I'll just use a pointer.
I'm going to get
And then it'll have to be an extension because you can't alter the code.
You can. I'm going to get Moon Wizard to do it. I'm going to talk him into it.
I don't know. There's always that door open for Creel wants to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but been gone a
if we
while
keep
now.
modifying his code, it'll be more difficult.
Well, I imagine Moon Wizard's updating the SVN, so it shouldn't be an issue. Actually,
It's in maintenance mode, shall we say? So it's maintained so it doesn't die, but it won't get anything new.
That's the problem.
Which is perfectly reasonable, I think.
Yeah, except there is the issue in that we do need to get someone to work out how to change the code for the distracted and vulnerable round, don't we?
What's wrong with distracted and vulnerable?
They've swapped them, haven't they?
They've swapped them around on the entangle power.
Then the entangle does, because obviously the entangle get rewritten.
So if you entangle someone with Fantasy Grounds Unity, you get the wrong. I can't remember which way around it's meant to be. One of them's meant to be vulnerable, one of them's meant to be distracted. I think you're distracted when entangled at the moment, so now you're meant to be vulnerable.
Yeah, you're distracted, so you lose orientation. Whereas what's supposed to happen is you get.
Yes.
If somebody entangles you, you physically you can't move. So you can't
You're vulnerable.
dodge. So you're vulnerable.
Yes. Pinnacle have rewritten, updated, and changed the rules. It's in Advanced Player's Guide. It's in Superheroes, isn't it? It's basically they've changed the ruling on intact. Yeah, they've swapped them around for in a number of places. Of course, Fantasy Grounds doesn't support the change.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. But anyway, back to this. So where you've got plenty of places you wanted to head to, I believe.
Well, we can go to the Aspen Lounge and ask around about that Gatling pistol, see if we can find out at least where he got it from. And then we want to drive off to Gunsight.
Okay, the Aspen Lounge. It's a rough place with frequent brawls and shootings. Owner and bartender keeps gunny sacks full of dirt piled under the bar for protection from stray shots. I love it. He just gets behind the bar when the shooting starts. Okay. Okay. As you head into the place, as you say, it's at this time of the morning. It's relatively quiet in there. There seems to be there's a couple of people in there. There's a chap sitting on a pulley system that seems to have an awful number of gears up in the ceiling, and a lever on the seat he's sitting on, playing the fiddle. Quite a jointy little tune. It would appear that that there appears to be the other thing seems notice there's a blackboard on one just above on the side of the bar that just literally says house specialties, and underneath are just three entries: Talos, Lightning, Skullbender, and Red Eye. Last one, it says underneath it, in quotes, makes a hummingbird spit in a rattler's eye.
Well,
As you walk in, the chap behind the bar looks up and goes, "What it'll be?"
Did you say, do you want a beat?
What will it be? He said. It seems to concatenate things. It was what it be.
It'll be whiskey, please. Sorry, I just turned into a Yeovil van.
Well, you were going to go to cider there.
I'd have a cider, please, Bob.
Cider. Made with mostly apples.
I'm going to call up to the fella on his pneumatic watch name and say, "Hey, you up there? Do you know Drowsy Maggie?"
No, he's on the ground. It's just as you look, you notice he's low to the ground. But as you look up, you notice that there's an awful lot of pneumatic equipment up the top there.
Tell me, do you know Drowsy Maggie?
I do. Right, do you want me to wake her up? I can't do
Very
accents
funny.
very well.
Well, look at that. A fella from the homeland. Well, isn't that nice? I'm a Dublin boy myself. How about yourself?
Yeah. Interesting. Actually, I'm wondering there. Second. Checking something. Okay. That's an Irish name, actually. I'm going to say he was putting on a bad Irish accent like me. Oh,
So he's
maybe not. Oh, take it back. He's named after a town in the Republic of Ireland. Yeah, he's Irish.
Righto.
Thomas. He says his name's Thomas Cashel.
Well, 'tis a pleasure to meet you.
County Tipperary in Ireland, apparently.
Well, so a man from up over the way. And what brings you out here? Myself, I was I didn't particularly like starving to death during the blight, you know.
Indeed. He says, just traveling the world, playing with music. Pays good here, and why not?
A feller performer, are you? Well, myself, I do a little bit of the stage magic, so I do, I shall say, and produce a card from nowhere with a flourish.
He responds by ripping out a very, very, very fast, very catchy, very well played tune upon his fiddle.
And I shall give a little bit of bad dancing to go along with it. Well, the reason I've come here is I hear that the owner of this. I hear that the owner of this here place has one of those newfangled Gatling pistol things. I sure would like to see one of them.
As Thomas sort of glances behind you as you say that, and a voice behind you goes, "What of it?"
Well, I've heard they're one of the modern wonders of the world. So they are. They call it the Winchester, the gun that won the West, but. Something like this. I mean, I know Mr. Maxim made his machine gun, but to make something the size of a pistol that could fire like that, well, it would be a wonderful thing to see. And if I'm absolutely honest, I am fascinated with little bits of machinery and things like that. Well, I couldn't make them myself. I like the idea of understanding how they work. It's useful for the act, you know.
Well, indeed, but Yes, I have recently acquired a Gatling pistol. Cost me a pretty penny. It's locked away in the cash box at the moment.
Oh, I expect it did. I hear that. I mean, just the delivery cost from Smith and Robards is quite a fortune, isn't it?
Well, yes, indeed. That's mine is not new. It is second hand.
You managed to acquire yourself one of these things second. And where did you manage to go about doing that?
Here, in this very bar.
You don't say. Well,
indeed.
I wish you could point me in the direction of the person that could get hold of one of them for you. It'd be quite nice if I could. I mean, they wouldn't have a second now, would they?
Goes, I can tell you exactly where you can find the seller. He points across the street.
Where is he pointing at?
Jail.
You bought it from the sheriff?
No, I bought it from his current resident.
Oh, I see. Who might that be?
Agnes Scarlett Kenny of the name of the Ghost Steel Gang.
Ah, right. I see. A famed outlawess then. Well.
Actually, yes, thinking about it. And I've just remembered you were told that Buckles gave Gatling pistol to a member of the gang for saving his life, didn't he?
Yes, but we didn't know which one.
No, indeed. I just remember that.
How intriguing. Well, I suppose I could go and ask her if she could get hold of another one, but she's somewhat incarcerated. Even if she knew where to get one, she wouldn't be able to now, would she? Well,
indeed not. No. So yes, but yeah. I mean, as I say, it's locked away, so I'm not going to get it at the moment. I believe, and obviously, it would be it would have to be a very bad night in here for me to use that over Betsy.
Betsy.
At that point, you feel yourself sort of you find yourself on the business end of a double-barreled shotgun.
Oh, now there's no need for that sort of thing. Besides, I thought,
He, for the record, he hasn't cocked it or anything. Goes,
yeah.
No, don't worry. She's just saying hello, and then he puts it back under the bar.
Well then, very pleased to meet you. I won't tell the marshal that you came out. I mean, I hear ladies like you have an ill repute in this town.
That's okay. You're not carrying, otherwise you'd have had to hand them over to me until the end of the night. Of course, in this place, sometimes people forget. It's the fact I have Betsy.
I see. Well,
And now Vera.
I'm very glad that you have both Betsy and Vera to help look after the folks around here. Tell me, you don't have a lovely orange knitted hat, do you? The kind of hat you'd have to be a brave man to walk down the street with.
Indeed not. If you see one, let me know.
I will do. Absolutely, I will.
The name is Blaine, Elmer Blaine.
Blaine? The man they call Blaine?
I'd say I wasn't influenced in any way, shape, or form because of his surname.
Well, 'tis a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Blaine. Would you mind if I buy Thomas here and yourself a shot of whiskey?
Indeed. Thank you very much.
Well, top of the morning to both of you fellers.
Mm. Actually, I just remember. Yeah, carry on.
I'll have a sip of my whiskey as well and talk with my compatriots. Well, I don't think that's going to give us a great deal more information, other than, well, he was seen with the Ghost Rock gang, but we knew that already. Maybe the young lady in the jail might actually be able to tell us a little bit more about what happened to him, but...
The funny thing is, here's the thing, does the jail cell have an outside window? As in the bad window?
As a general rule, most of them do. I mean, it's...
I was going to say,
That structure rules are roughly 2 feet thick, are made of stone and mortar, with iron-barred windows and 4 cells inside. The front door is heavily fortified with a locked iron portcullis.
Well, the thing is, we don't have to go through the front door, because all we do is go write a note saying hello on and put it through the bars of the cell. Somebody will come at the window and we'll have a chat through the window. Private,
as long as we get the right window and the marshal isn't sat in there watching it happen. And in all honesty,
somebody can go in and distract him. You know what I mean?
And who would be the best distraction? I mean, who's rubbed him up the wrong way already and likes to talk to him about not being allowed to carry guns around town? Would there be anybody we know that's like that?
Well, I'm carrying guns around town.
Yes, which you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah, bollocks. I'm carrying my guns around if I want to.
Are you blatantly carrying them?
Well, I've not got them out, you know, but they're
in your holsters, are they?
I've got a normal Colt in my holster, and I've got the ghost pistol in bit back behind my coat, so people can't see it. You know, tucked in my back. Yeah. I've got a long coat. I've got a High Plains Drifter long coat on. Yeah. So you can't see my guns unless you're looking.
Okay, when you get out. Okay.
I've just got a backpack of things. One of them happens to have 6 barrels, but it's a bag of things.
I have no need for such things. Not in a civilized place like this, anyway. You're awful quiet, Miss Von Trapp.
Oh, I think you speak enough for 10 people, Patrick.
Very kind of you to say so.
Just keeping an eye out.
What exactly are you keeping an eye out for?
Well, just about anything in this town.
Right. Well, if I see anything that exists, I'll be sure. Oh, look, a door, a chair, a table, some bottles of whiskey. Fella behind the bar there. Mr. Blaine, that is. You see, if you're just keeping your eye out for anything, you'll always find something. Now, you might see that as success, but to be perfectly honest, unless you're actually looking for something particular, you'll never find the thing you're
In
looking
the
for.
middle
You'll
of the
just find
speech,
something.
Mercy gets up and walks out and steps out onto the boardwalk and looks across the street to the jail.
Okay. What? No problem at all.
I swear the youth of today have no manners.
Yeah, so anyway, I wonder if she knows where he is.
Well, that is a very good question. And even if she doesn't know where he is, at least she might have an idea of where he went to.
Because there's a couple of questions I want to ask him: is why did the stone get buried in your basement, and why are you so bad at gardening? With the things that grow, and the funny things growing in your garden.
Well, there are questions I would like to ask him, but finding out about his horticultural abilities aren't really something I was particularly going in for.
Yeah, I mean, so presumably he did nick the rock and then he buried it. I mean, so. And he probably actually nicked the rock to take it away from this cult, or maybe the
I'm
cult
thinking that
nicked
might
the
be
rock, or maybe the cult nicked the rock and then he nicked the rock off the cult.
That's also possible.
Yeah, I think
Hey.
we should go to we'll go to the sheriff's office.
So you're suggesting we have a wander around the back, and those two will undoubtedly do something that will cause the sheriff to be distracted.
Well, it's just if you want to have a conversation about. I mean, I'm sure she doesn't want to have a conversation about other gang members that may have escaped a lot in front of the sheriff.
Are they still inside the saloon?
Yep.
We are, yeah.
They're talking about the marshal.
Yeah, how interesting.
I was thinking.
So let's go.
House.
So let's head off to the sheriff's office.
And then as we leave, I'll say to him, of course, I could just go in and say that she's wanted. And
As you say all this, you notice two things. One, Elmer seems to have ducked down behind the bar, and also you hear a clockwork-like sound as Elmer's just pulled the lever and shot up to the ceiling on his platform.
Well,
Okay.
that's a fine thing, so it is.
You'll come into my office and tell me what, says the marshal, standing in the doorway with two deputies.
Well, did I have an interest in the young lady you've got in the cell over there?
Indeed, I have an interest in arresting one of your friend here for breaking the city ordinance rules.
And you're absolutely welcome to do so. I've been telling him he should hand his guns in all along.
What guns?
He points at your holsters and goes, "Those guns, Mr. Money. Come with me now, and you pay the fine, and I will hand your guns back when you leave town, and you will hand them back into me every time you come back into town."
I've got a gun.
If you put the ghost gun, then
I told you, it's tucked in the back of my trousers, in a holster at the back.
Well, then that's fine. Then it's only the gun. It's only a $10 fine then, or a week in jail.
I suppose I could do that, but I'll put the gun on the counter then, next to me.
Goes. One of the deputies walks over and to take the gun. Picks up the gun. and wanders back and goes, right. So if you come over to the office, Mr. Money, you can pay the fine right now. If you can't pay the fine,
I'll just
then
give you $10 now.
we'll need to do it in my office with the paperwork and everything else.
Don't worry, I'll pay the fine for Mr. Money. Can I have change of a tenner and 1 penny coins?
I will turn to Mr. Watt and just blink at him.
But he can pay it back in he can pay it back in coppers, can't he? I'll give you $10. Go back and you can count it out in coppers to the front of the sheriff, and then once he's happy, then the fine will be paid and everybody will be happy. It might take ages, but
Yeah, I can do that. Go on. I don't think I've got any notes on me anyway. I've got give us all your change, and I'll go to the office.
pay him in loose change. You might be there a while, but at least it pays off. It gets rid of the change and it pays off your file.
Exactly. And they'll use it. It's always going to come in handy, and change always comes in handy.
Aye, they'll use it, and they might be preoccupied counting change, small change. Will other parties do other things?
And the marshal then looks at you, Mr. Adolfo, and says, and in answer to your question, no, unless you have official reason to be talking to one of my prisoners, in which case you can approach me and we can arrange a discussion. You can't talk to one of my prisoners.
Oh, I see.
So it's this way, Mr. Money.
I'll get the money off of what and.
You head across the street.
Yeah, and head across the street. Yeah.
Well then, Mr. Watt, shall we?
I've gone from the map.
And we'll head across the street and round the back of the prison.
Okay, you head across the street and around the back of the prison.
And after they exit, I'll follow Watt and Patrick.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Notice they didn't comment on the fact that I didn't warn him. The sheriff was just walked past me.
He probably hadn't picked up that you'd known about it until you just said that. But anyway, okay, you head round the back of the jail. As I say, it's stone structure, walls rough to 2 feet thick, made of stone and mortar. Unbarred windows. 4 cells inside. So logically, there's 4 high windows along the wall of the jail. Probably on the north side.
So let's find this. The one with her that she's on.
Well, we'll wander along and just do shave and a haircut on each of the sets of bars and see who responds.
Yeah, you get first sets of bars. There's some decidedly slurred singing coming from inside.
I don't think that's her. Let's try the next one.
The next one appears to be empty.
And let's try the next one.
Scarlett Kenny, $500 for her.
They were all $500 each, weren't they? $500 alive.
Bud Go Still Black was $2,000.
Ah, yes, he was worth a lot more, wasn't he?
Yes, but they were wanted alive.
Yeah.
I don't think there's absolutely any background on most NPCs. I've got stats for every single one of them. I do remember creating this adventure was a nightmare because it was like, and here you have this one. Use these stats and change one skill. And here we have this one. Use these stats and change one skill. I'm so glad for Swell. Well, that now I can tell you.
Oh, I've just done an entire book, and then every NPC in the book does that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, because you have to actually build a character, you realise that the person who wrote the book has never done it, because there's quite a few mistakes I found.
I mean, there is 5 pages of NPCs.
Wow.
And that's that. Hang on, sorry. Let's take it to the default. Yeah, because it scrolls, doesn't it? 5 pages of NPCs I had to create for this bloody adventure. But anyway, okay, yes, Scarlett. I think she will. Yeah, she's in the next one. I do believe. Obviously, there's no background on her other than she's in the jail. Here we are, jail. Scarlett Kenny. Here is trying to talk to the inmate of jail, finding it difficult, asking the marshal, results in a flat refusal, which you've just found out. No one talks to the prison except okay. You might be able to distract her. Yep, which you're doing, and speak to Scarlett through the high window. Okay. Anyway, go for it.
Well then, I'm hoping that'll be Scarlett in there. I do believe that a gentleman of our mutual acquaintance gave to you a nice rotary firearm in thanks for your assistance. Now, he's a friend of mine, and I'm wanting to, well, I'm worried about his good health, and I'm trying to find out what's happened to him. I believe you were one of the last people to see him, and was hoping you might be able to point me in at least the vague general direction of where I might find him.
You get all you get is laughter coming back through the window, and all you get is, I don't know nothing about agency issued guns. I'm innocent. So whoever told you I sold a weapon like that's a liar. But you know what? Best write up your last will and testament if you go looking for the Ghost Steel gang. That's all I've got. But from
Is that so? I've already been and seen them. Bud was a very nice fella. Shared some beans with him. Had a slight problem with another member of the gang. They were having a disagreement, and the poor fella, I mean, he did need a shave quite badly, all over his face and his arms and his legs and his arse and well everywhere else, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, they're all fine apart from the and his tail. They're all fine apart from the furry one. And out of interest, who said anything about guns being issued by the agency? Because I certainly didn't.
Tackling pistols are tended to be, I think, are technically restricted to the agency.
No, they're not. They're not. You can buy them from Smith and Robards. It's just
historically they were, yeah.
Historically, but nowadays you can buy them from Smith and Robards. They're just
I know,
given to agency members.
Indeed, but that's all she said. That's all she gives you. Apparently, she's lawyered up.
Right. Well, I have a feeling we've done a lot of this in the wrong order then, because we've already been to see the Ghost Steel gang. Looks like we're getting nothing from here. Do you know what?
Yeah.
I wonder if they've finished counting out those coins, because we should ask Mr. Money to go and pick his guns up as we're leaving town.
Indeed. Well, if you're leaving
town, it's on nothing more that she can tell. I mean, it's like. I think
I tell you what. For this is one thing I will say is this adventure is very good in not telling you, not giving much information for the NPCs. As in, they say here's an NPC, and then there's a separate section that says this is what everyone will tell you, and that's all they get out of them. But obviously, well, the point being is she's in jail and she doesn't know you from Adam, therefore she's not likely to trust you. Is the attitude I'm taking? So she's not going to admit to committing any crime.
We seem to have done.
Don't forget, she's in jail. She's in jail, so of course she's innocent.
Of course, but also I have let her know that we know that another member of the Ghost Steel gang is a werewolf, which probably isn't common knowledge.
She probably doesn't necessarily know that herself, to be honest, is the honest truth.
Maybe not.
But judging on the background from the rest of the adventure. Oh, at the best, all I could give you is the fact is if she did admit to it, which she wouldn't in jail, but if you ever meet her out of jail, then all she would probably do is definitely admit to the same story that you were told that basically Buckles gave it to her for saving his life. Obviously, she sold it to Elmer Blaine.
Yeah.
So this is all a bit. We seem to be going backwards because we opened the safe, and then found out how to open the safe, and then found out where the information is to find the information to open the safe.
Indeed.
But that's because someone managed to open the safe with ignoring the -6 modifier on unlocking the safe.
Bah.
Wahaha. Yeah.
So, you can plan amongst yourselves. I shall return.
So we're back to Clover, or find out what's going on in the gun site. We don't know. I mean, unless there's any other way to get to the secret society. We can't go door to door going, "Are you in the secret society?
Are you a member of the secret society? Yeah.
Yeah. We
I
have
think
brought a comfy chair.
I think we go to gun site, see what's going on there, because with your engine, we can get there and back in a day. Go to gun site, see what's going on there, maybe spend a night there. Perhaps we go to the dance hall on an evening when it's open and see if Clovis is just like sat at the bar staring in a cup and see if we can prod him and work out what's up with him. And maybe just ask around town and see just what general rumours might be around. Money in Vancouver, either of you got any ideas?
I haven't done any
Not,
whiskey for a while.
not really. I leave the thinking to you, Patrick.
Well, I suppose that's probably just as well, all things considered.
Got to keep that thing between your ears alive, haven't we? Do you know what I mean?
I'll leave the man hating and killing to you then.
Yep, sounds like a good idea.
Don't ever remember mentioning hating men or any being for that matter.
Well, you certainly have a strong dislike for me, and to be perfectly honest, any man that says anything slightly off color in your general direction, you seem to have an issue with. But then you do have an issue with everybody. Maybe you're just an equal opportunity hater.
I think that maybe it's because you smell a bit funny. She has got a problem with you.
Oh,
that's
it's
all.
just the makeup.
No, I just have an issue with dishonesty, Patrick.
Sure, and I'm honest as the day is long. Which I suppose does mean that I get less honest in the winter.
Right.
Yeah, well, you might be honest in your perspective. You're not terribly honest with yourself, Patrick, but hey, there's that.
Well, a very wise man once said that the truth, as we know it, very much depends on our own point of view.
So, what is that little thinking brain of yours thinking now, Patrick?
Well, at the moment, it's thinking that we should just bugger off to gun site, see what's going on there, come back and maybe go to the dance hall one evening when Clovis might actually be out and sitting in his cups. Well, not literally in his cups, but you know, you understand euphemisms and turns of phrase. You use them yourself. That we could maybe see him then. We might even have a word with our friend, the doctor, and see if he might take a look at Mr. Clovis and see just exactly what might or might not be wrong with him.
Yeah, Mercy just raises one eyebrow because she's already drawn her own conclusions about what Clovis's issue is.
Well, I think one of Clovis's issues is possibly that English fella is tupping his wife. But
Why on earth
I'm sure.
Why on earth did I make it 10 miles shorter than you did?
I don't know. But hey, well, I'll go with your measuring.
Unless Mr. Watts intending to make modifications to his steam wagon.
No, I was just out of the box thinking that if we needed to get somewhere really, really quickly, I'm sure with a bit of grit, and we might have some kind of arcane spike and everybody might fly. Oh, gritty, bang, bang.
Oh, I see. You've got. Yeah. Well, if you've got the card and you want to use it, you can, of course.
And that would get us, when 36.
That would get you there in half the time if you take the direct route, wouldn't it?
I take it you don't have the card, John?
I do.
Oh, if you do, then all good.
Shall we do that then?
That's fun. You'd have to drive back, but it gets you there quicker.
Right. I mean, if we need, so we're absolutely sure we want to leave town and go there.
I don't think there's anything else we can do in town at the moment, unless we're going to just wander around looking, hoping that people drop rumours in our general direction.
Oh well, okay. You better to brace yourself.
Okay, I'll get my gun from the sheriff and say we're
Yep,
leaving
no
town.
problem. Indeed.
And I'll have gone by my place, my boarding house or hotel, motel, whatever I'm staying at, and collected my guns as meet them on the edge of town.
Okie dokie. Let's have a weird science roll from Mr. Watt. Crit fails, don't worry. The car will
Don't
fly
forget to put
perfectly
the
well.
bra on her head.
Yeah, just we won't.
Are you happy with a 6, Mr. Watt, on your fly?
On my casting of fly, yes, I believe, because that's a success.
It is, but don't forget, I do believe with fly, or can you pay extra for extra speed? Okay. Well, basically, that means you'll be flying at 12. You fly at pace 12, which you get the raise, you fly at 24, you see.
You just want me to crit fail.
No, I'm just saying you don't. Oh, there you
go. Let's put some gas in it. There you go. Give it a bit of welly.
Okay.
Have you checked, totally unrelated, but have you checked out the name of my horse?
No, I haven't. Let's have a look at your name of your horse. Notes. Nope.
Allies.
Allies. Contacts. No. Advanced notes. Oh, it's on main, isn't it?
It's not a horse with no name, is it? Is it good to get out of the rain?
It just says with.
Yeah. With 2 blanks. Yeah, with no name. He got it. He got it right.
He did. Righty ho. Gunsight. You have arrived at Gunsight. Okay, now I do believe this is where things. Not because you've arrived at Gunsight, but because of been happening. So I need to go to 10. Okay. So let's go to let's go to effects, go to global effects, turn off that, turn on that, no problem at all there. Good job. So, okay, located in the foothills south of Hilliard, this gold and silver mining town is entirely crammed into a long, narrow, high-walled canyon, I should say, rather. Most new construction is forced to go up rather than expand outwards, clinging to the canyon walls and linked by precarious catwalks and rope bridges. At night, the canyon is filled with twinkling lights and soft fluttering of tents and wagon covers. The upper catwalks are basically, it would appear, where the problem comes at Gunsight. So you'll find out about that soon. Yeah, so there we go. You get to Gunsight. So what I do need to check is I need to remind myself. Okay. As you get closer to Gunsight, the shadows on the cliffs, they all around the area around Gunsight, the shadows on the cliffs look like peering faces. In fact, actually, as you're heading, you're flying, aren't you? As you're flying in towards the entrance of the canyon, there's 4 of you, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
You all hear basically, as you're coming in, I'm going to assume you're going to land and drive into the canyon. As you land, and obviously you've been all the way here with the wind whistling through you. As you land, there's just a brief saturation of wind, and all of you hear, "See, Vancouver is here," whispered on the wind.
Is it me? Or do I keep hearing Miss Vancouver's name?
Oh, well, I thought you were talking to yourself.
Well, sure, and quite often nobody listens, but I always talk to somebody.
What you keep hearing her name?
Aye.
What, on the wind?
Well, I suppose she is like the wind.
You know, Patrick, I could put another bullet in your head to match the.
Patrick Swayze. She's like the wind.
Okay, so
Yeah, she blows around all over the place, never tells you what she's doing, and always gets up in your face when you don't need it.
Mercy just shrugs and ignores them, looks around to see if she recognizes anybody.
so gun site, yes, reached gun site. Someone actually might know, given their background. So, I have a common knowledge check from the amazing Adolfo.
Okay. I have to wonder if I have an edge that applied to that common knowledge roll. And if so, if it's worth me re-rolling to see if I get a 6 on the dice.
No idea of which edge you are talking. Anything about getting extra D6? That one, thank you very much.
Not an extra d6, but if I were to roll a 6, it has a +2 that applies to certain types of
fair enough.
common knowledge rolls, and therefore a roll of a 6 would then be an 8, which would be a raise. Without any penalty.
Oh, bollocks. There you go. Doesn't matter because you probably mentioned it. I won't worry too much about not whispering that one.
You know, the Little Rock Irregulars, a gang of former rail warriors led by the notorious outlaw, Arkansas Ted Harwell, are rumoured to have a summer around here.
They're wanted dead or alive for train robbery, murder, and arson. They hold up Denver Pacific trains.
Indeed. Now,
They have a somewhere. What's the somewhere?
apparently, they've got a somewhere around here. They do. It's a somewhere.
You've got a somewhere around here.
They've definitely got a somewhere.
Hideout.
You've got a somewhere around here now for sure.
Hideout.
I think it might be a hideout, but it's a very good hideout. It's so hidden you can't even say the word.
I hate you.
Oh, oh.
But anyway, there we go. So yes, the other Mercy, I'll let you make a common knowledge roll as well.
Wait a minute. Somewhere is it? That's on
Sorry,
the corner
occult.
of.
I meant occult, not common knowledge. Sorry.
Is the address we're looking at on the corner of Thingamajig and what's it?
Do better with the occult, apparently.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, Patrick, just occurs to me. Might meet some friends around here.
What do you mean, friends?
You know, dead people.
I'm not friends with dead people. I mean, I did meet an Irishman back in Heaston Hill, but you're obsessed with dead people.
Only when I ride with them.
Mercy Van Haley Joel Osmond.
No, Patrick, some of us have faced our dark side and determined to conquer it. Others just pretend it's not there and eventually it'll conquer them.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Sure, everybody's got a dark side. Facing it and conquering it, well, that's another thing entirely.
So I forgot.
It's more of a worry when people try to embrace it instead.
No, there's stories around here that some of these catwalks have been haunted by an old miner who was in despair when his gold mine played out, and kind of threw himself off the catwalks.
Oh, it is a terrible shame when somebody does something like that. I mean, there's always something to live for. It might not be what you wanted, but there's always something to be alive for.
Well, if you encounter his ghost, you can explain that to Jump Off Joe.
Jump Off Joe. Well, people have a great imagination round here. So he threw himself to his death. So the ghost of Jump Off Joe. Well, tell you what, if I see him, I will have a word with him and tell him, sure, and it's not all that bad. Just head towards the light. That's all you need to do.
I forgot to. I meant to do something. It took me a while to find my notes, and I forgot to do something. So I'm putting it in now as if maybe now you're here. It's triggered a memory because maybe you thought you dreamt it, Mercy. But now you're here. I'm going to. Up to you if you what you want to say. No, you did show you. Let's say you did show that map. That isn't this one. That isn't the map in question.
Well, Sheriff, you like to go around digging up all kinds of obscure, irrelevant stuff. You know, there's those that say that Jump Off Joe jumped, and there's others that say he was murdered. That'd be more up your alley, I'm sure.
Well, still not my jurisdiction, though we're a little bit closer to the border than we were before. But yes, if he were pushed rather than jumped, I mean, that would be, I mean, well, if a soul was going to carry on wandering, it would be because there was something left undone, I would expect. And, well, certainly if I got pushed off a place and wanted people to, be, well, dealt with for their crimes, well, maybe I'd come back and try to haunt somebody, so I might.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sheriff. You keep an eye out for some kind of map or something like that for a clue.
Look out for a map for a clue. Right.
Yep, that would give you, course, it might be in the hands of those rumored to have killed old Jump Off.
Well, yes, if you were killed for the map to the place that was the place where the map was going to, then I expect that they would have the map, because the whole point of killing him would have been to get the map for the map to the place. Of course, how would you find a map if you didn't know who it was that killed him? And if the only way to work out who it was that killed him is to find a map, well,
Yeah, Mercy seems kind of lost in thought, like she's remembering something that she's not fully disclosing.
hang on, you said he used to go hunt. Did you know this Joe fella before he was Jump Off Joe?
No, it's just some rumors I picked up. Maybe it was back in Aspen or something. Stories sometimes stick in your head. But well, the rumor is that if he didn't jump, then it might have been in the place to find an answer might be with a lady named Deliverance Holiday and her gang. Well,
And
some
what would
cutthroats, so, but of course, again, right up your alley, Patrick.
Miss Vancouver, having seen what happened the last time we came across, I'm not going to say a woman of ill repute, because, well, they were a woman and their reputation wasn't exactly fantastic. There are certain connotations to that particular phraseology. But there was a lady that we came across in Carter that you, well, let's just say certain similarities between yourself and her. This Miss Deliverance Holiday, um, there wouldn't be anything which you would have in common with her now, would there?
Not so far as I know. She's an outlaw. You can see me. I walk the straight and narrow.
He's an outlaw. Oh, hi, gang. I apologise. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I apologise. Yeah, my mistake there.
Just a run-of-the-mill cutthroat killer,
Well, like I say, that would be the kind of person which you might have some kind of history with.
You seem to have a lot of speculations going for you, Patrick. A little short on facts there.
Well, that kind of thing is going around. You seem to accuse me of something quite frequently.
I ain't accusing you of but one thing, and that's kind of apparent to everybody but you, it seems.
Well, there's only one thing which I'm accusing you of as well.
Well, if what you are suggesting were true, you would have to be watching your back now, wouldn't you?
There isn't a time that I don't.
Well, apparently there was at least one time you didn't.
So you keep telling me. If what you keep telling me really is true, maybe it's you that did the deed that has apparently happened to me.
Oh, I could have easily been the one that put the bullet through your skull, but I would not have been the Manitou that reanimated you and made the rest of the inflicted you back on the world. In other words, had I murdered you, Patrick, you'd still be dead.
Well, I got to wonder if that's a threat. I keep getting people not making threats at me today. So, Deliverance Holiday, and what evidence do you have that this Deliverance Holiday is the one that pushed this Joe off whatever it was he didn't jump off?
And I give Patrick my absolutely sweetest, most feminine smile and tell him, oh, just feminine intuition.
You're going to have to try better than that. That black tooth you got, it really doesn't do anything for your smile.
Just told you, I picked up rumors, probably in Aspen. It's not this place, ain't that far from Aspen.
I see. Righto.
The West is a small place where rumors spread like wildfire.
So I've heard. Well, you wouldn't happen to know where this Deliverance Halliday tends to hang out, would you?
Well, that investigating stuff is your area of expertise, Sheriff.
It's Marshall. I keep telling you that.
And I keep telling you, 110 badge is the same as any other.
Oh, believe you me, it most certainly isn't.
They're not bulletproof, them tin badges, are they?
Not that I'm
really.
aware of. Let's do a little bit of networking and see if I can.
Indeed, a bit
scrounge up
of
some
networking. Yes, indeed.
I will be all streetwise around Gunsight and see
As you get into Gunsight, it would appear that it's got worse than normal. Apparently, people keep seeing Jump Off Joe, and he's basically running around all the high scaffolds in despair. No one's unfortunately, more than one person's nearly fallen in fright. Every night he's running around the place, getting more and more antsy, apparently. But anyway, that's one of the things you do pick up as you start doing your networking. So let's have your networking roll. This is finding criminal gangs, so you do get your bonuses, of course.
You want to give him some support rolls, do you?
You can support him in his networking. You can use intimidation or persuasion to help support him.
What about taunt?
Intimidation or persuasion are the networking skills, aren't they?
They are.
Oh yeah, mind you, if you're supporting, you can. You justify. If you could justify a taunt, I'll allow it. Actually, I'll take it back. If you could justify a taunt, I'll allow it. I normally let you use any skill for support rolls, don't I? As long as you can. No,
Yeah, I'm just going to look mean.
Actually, no. Actually, this is networking, so you actually do have to use intimidation or persuasion to. It's not a test.
If you're just looking mean, that totally is intimidation.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so it's a current modifier is a +0, so that's a 5 at the moment.
Wine and whiskey making me look charming. Yeah. Oh look. There he goes.
Okay, that's a 7. Okay.
You know what? I will put a penny on that, just to see if I can get the raise. And I can.
I mean, if push comes to shove, there's always Plan B.
What's that? Wander around offering a bounty?
No. We just we go and have a coffee somewhere. Find out who the local ranch hand or farmer is. And then
takes a few hours, but you finally track down that Deliverance and her thugs are in a saloon high up on the canyon wall called the Erie.
As in the spooky, or as in the place where eagles nest?
Place where eagles nest.
Sure, I'm not too keen on heights, but if this is where they hang out, it'd be a very good place for somebody to jump off now, wouldn't it? Well, let's go pay them a visit then. Seems only the fair thing to go and do.
Oh, Mercy's on board with that. She has an agenda here that she's not currently actually sharing.
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
Okay. So, as you reach, let's call it right, the AERE, the Erie. As you arrive, the place is as I say, it's high up, very up there. You've had to climb up scaffolding, crossing rope bridges, cross some precarious trails, and digging flumes as well. Apparently, I'm not sure what a digging flume is, but anyway, is that just when piles of dirt's left or something? Do you think?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
From what? What?
Digging
Flumes
flumes.
are generally depression type, like a tunnel, a half tunnel, where
Right.
oil
Yeah.
and stuff is allowed to, sluice down so they can wash it down, make sure it gets all the way to the bottom. Saves time and tracks.
Fair enough. Okie doke.
Flumes, as in, yeah, you have a drainage, and then you line it with carpet, and then you pour the water in at the top, and it'll go to get stuck on the carpet.
Ah, cunning.
And the water,
Okay.
and then you clean the you look for pickings out the carpet. Maybe.
But when you arrive, they're talking over what to do with they're talking over what they're going to do with a map.
Oh, did we hear and we see them sitting there talking about it? Do they have the map visibly present?
Well, that's what you hear as you come in through the front of the saloon. They notice you entering as you come in through the front of the saloon. What do
And
you
Mercy
do / say?
Mercy will step over to him and go, "Deliverance Halliday," and then she'll draw her gun and she'll tell him, "Yeah, I think you have something that belongs to a friend of mine, and he'd like it back."
At which point they bolt out the back door.
And I'm right behind him.
Guess what you lot get to do? A bloody dangerous chase through Gunsight.
Oh, joy.
So I found some very precarious looking canyon walls, and we're looking up at you running along the top of them.
I forgot what the name of that particular canyon is. It's pretty famous.
Okay, I am supposed to change the distance multiplier to 5, aren't I, for a foot chase? So there we go. So that should be, that's better. That should now say 25. There you go. Let's see what happens. John Watt gets to go first.
Powers. Okay, I will take a yeah, you'll have to put us on a separate track, obviously.
Oh, tell a lie. The holiday gang gets to go first because I just gave him a joker.
Yeah. You're going to have to put us on a separate track. Yes, that's right.
What's that?
Otherwise your tokens will stack.
Token stacking doesn't matter if you're on the same line, does it?
Yeah,
I was expecting.
Yeah, it does, because what happens if one of us moves forward one on top of them, and then you have 2 tokens in the same square?
Well, haven't we got the token stacking doofer anyway?
Yeah, you should have the token stacking doofer, shouldn't you? Yeah, you got the token stacking doofer.
Yeah. Or we could just do this.
Or I just make the graphic bigger, yes.
Yes.
But anyway, I get to go first now. So
humbug.
What I am going to do is to make things interesting. I'm going to split them.
Oh, Sky Chase.
Oh, how many? Oh, that's an awful lot of console errors.
I didn't get
Cool,
any
sorry.
actually.
I didn't get any either.
I got loads.
I get
So
loads.
did I.
I was just ungrouping. Oh, maybe people must be on different versions.
I'm on the latest version. Where was
Yeah, I updated just before I came on, and I had updated.
Yeah.
Well,
Some
Or
shrubs
RPG
get
6.
scared.
No, not for me. Anyway, so they're going to make a run for it. So he's going to make an athletics check. He is not doing a flat out run. He's going to go to there and he's going to take a pot shot at Mercy.
Do you know what it is?
Oh, hang on, it's a chase, isn't it?
It's because you gave a joker to each individual person, didn't they?
Quite possibly. Quite
So
possibly.
now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you just dealt yourself 6 jokers.
It is quite possibly that. I agree. Okay, I modify.
6 jokers in the deck.
Okay, so the first one fires a shot at, but one of them sort of hangs back while the others all break for the door, and that person fires a shot at Mercy. The others are all going to go flat out run, I think.
I soaked that one and it ain't.
No problemo. The others are just going to go flat out for the run. Ooh, what I haven't got going is I don't have the crown. I don't have the crown extension app running. You're the one to tell me who's going first. Yes, it was unfortunate. I decided to split them after I dealt the cards, so that's my mistake. I can manually add a +2 on. That's a 4, which gets in 1 square. And another d4. So they literally bounce out the back door and literally start charging across a very high, nice and high up rope ladder. Athletics. I mean, even higher up the canyon. Hang on, I'm forgetting to add the +2 on, aren't I? So they both actually get to there.
It's giving them a joker bonus +2 anyway.
Yeah, but they get, if they run flat out, they get a +2 bonus on top of the joker bonus.
Ah, we have to shoot them then, that means.
Mr. John Watt, you're up, sir.
Just the John Watt is going to do a normal run.
Okay.
Oh, my leg. Failing. So they are. I will then target 10 yards. And I will cast.
The just screenshot, just a thing off your Windows desktop, is it?
No. I just Googled. No, it's not off my desktop. My Windows desktop is animated.
I know one of the Windows 10 things is something like that, isn't it?
No,
well, it was a couple of years ago. I can't remember now. I've not used Windows for so long. I've forgotten.
Right. So just because we're obviously doing shenanigans here. So it's going to be obviously it has to be a large burst template, right? So, but that means that affects what? Because it's going to be without minis.
4
Indeed.
large.
Right.
Templates without minis. Large is 4 targets with
So I'm going to shoot the last 4 targets with a strong havoc, and I'm going to see if I can make them all trip up because they're going to go flying.
Just to be clear, are we killing these guys or not?
Well, we don't know. We just wanted to question them, you know.
They ran. Okay, so maybe.
And they done a runner at the back door. So yeah, let's. I don't think. I mean, they should theoretically survive if we cast havoc and catapult them into the canyon walls, and
then they drop off the canyon wall down to the canyon floor.
No, we're not running across the top, are we? We're
Yes.
we're going through the middle. We are running across the top.
You're running along. You're running along you're up, high up on the canyon rolls. There, the four you've just blasted with a havoc are climbing up a rope ladder as you blast them.
Well, make sure they don't go over the edge. Just blast them into the wall, so they'll fall off the rope ladder, and hopefully by the time they get to their feet, they'll get caught. Some of them might get knocked out.
Did you pay the extra for the range? Because some of them are 15 feet away from you, 15 inches from you.
Yes, indeed.
So target them.
So what we need to do is we need to target him, and we need to target him, and we need to target him.
Done it,
right,
and
then
distracted,
and then we go here and make them all distracted.
Way ahead of you. Already done it. Okay. Dokie. Let's see now. Let's create a nice shortcut, shall we?
And so they are at their stone strength rolls at -2. But they've got the joker bonus.
Do indeed. I am going to go and put that. Here.
2, 3, 4.
That's rather
5.
Oh well. Okay, so first member fails miserably and takes and plummets the 40 feet to the ground.
I didn't want to knock them off. I just wanted to knock them into the. Oops.
Oh, it's not your fault a gust of wind hit the ladder as they were climbing up it, is it?
Well, I thought I could see, because obviously we don't have a map. I would have put the circles that blow them on the edge side to blow them the right way.
You hit them with a magical gust of wind that knocks them off the rope ladder into the canyon wall, and they plummet to their death.
Oops.
Oh, that one bounced on the way down.
Well, he looks like Jump Off Joe now. There's some poetic justice.
I'm pretty sure this is not what we were intending to happen.
No. But I was worried about have I put my pants on. I mean, and then next thing you know, we're running out the door. You know.
Okay. Next up is Deliverance Holiday, who is basically it's lock the tokens. They are locked.
You might want to surrender now.
Well, yeah, you. Okay, she's going to shoot you, hitting you, doing. Obviously, you just wiped out half her gang. Basically, she fires back as she starts running away. The effect isn't working. Right, if it's not working for them, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. Just didn't notice it. You successfully soak. No problem at all there. She will then run to there. Who's next? The amazing Adolfo. I am going to attempt to interrupt you there.
Okay.
Okay, I got a 10.
Looks like you're interrupting me.
Okay, Jump Off Joe suddenly appears out of the canyon wall.
And
And
I was not expecting that.
And
Will we all be needing a fear check at that point then?
I was just about to check that.
Marcy shouldn't need it.
Anyone who sees the ghost must make a fear check. So everyone gets to make a fear check. Mercy's okay, yes. Okay, so I just need to do the holiday gang members. -2 to fear, isn't it? 'Cause fear level 4 is -2.
Already got it set.
Yes, but you can't do it for NPCs.
I thought global effects would affected everyone.
Yes, but I have to move the combat tracker back up to the NPC
I see.
to do specific roll fear checks. Okay, so they are both automatically panicked.
Ice failed.
Okay, we'll worry about you in a second. These guys instantly get to make run checks, which for argument's sake, I'm going to say just puts them...
It would
Actually,
bump them, wouldn't it?
It would bump them. Actually, yeah, let's bump them backwards. That's what he'd want to do, bump them backwards. Then I just need to do Deliverance, who spirit check as well. Okay, and I don't think I did a Deliverance there. Deliverance just failed. She will spend one of her bennies to re-roll. Failing again. So she gets to roll on the fear table, and the John Watt gets to roll on the fear table. Okay, so it's a +2. Hang on, no, there's no modifier because Jump Off Joe is just fear. There's no, so it's just a straightforward fear table roll, which I did believe I have there. I'll give you to Mr. Watt. Roll for Deliverance now.
Go.
He's hesitant.
Hesitant, draw 2 cards, keep the lowest.
Okay, so I think if I do that as a hash, it should work, shouldn't it?
Should do.
Isn't it a $sign for?
Oh yes, it's to reference an edge's $, isn't it?
Yeah. If you use $, and then the name of the string.
And that should do it. $sign hesitant.
Hash for effect.
Yes, it's $sign for a. So I'll put that hesitant on. We'll see what happens there. Okay, at the same time he does that. Okay, and then he fades back in. Then Jump Off Joe fades back into the wall. Mr. Dolphin, you're up, sir.
Right, that I wasn't expecting. Well, okay then. Adolfo has a look around and sees various bits of rope and weights and things like that, and works out that if he cuts one of them, that should bring him, take him up to the level where these folks are. So he's going to use that as his just paying attention to moving to try and catch up with the holiday gang.
Okay, sounds good to me. Go for it.
And I'm going to put a Benny on that because I want to try and get the 8. That'll do. But I'm not multi-actioning, so that's me done.
You doke. Hang on, his calculating distance is wrong, isn't it?
Oh no, don't do that. Don't say that.
It's foot chase, so that should be range 5 between the two.
It's columns, isn't it? But the point is, you see, it isn't 30 feet to there. It should be 10 feet. See what I mean? That's why historically you used to put people like that, because that stops the funny measurements to a degree.
I know, but if you put the chase mode on, it won't make a difference.
Chase mode is on.
Not getting any funny weird numbers. It's all working out fine.
I'm at range 10 to all of the other PCs, which is correct.
Oh yeah, you are now.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's right. It's just movement. It's obviously movement is calculating. Actual ranges are fine. Ignore me. I'm putting everyone back then.
God, we should
No,
have a
I'm
massive
fine.
discussion about
Actually,
this.
I would have been
I
fine
know.
by Will.
I know. I was just being cheeky.
So well, hopefully Moon Wizard copies Mike's code in there.
Yeah, I honestly get complete sympathy for Mike that, yeah, if he does it as a feature and I think if he brings out an extension, great, I'll pay him for it. You know?
Mr. Money, sir, you're up.
So I just saw this Deliverance Holiday shoot my friend. Try and
Did
shoot.
indeed.
Don't kill her.
I'll try not to kill her. Well, I missed, and then I'll go run. And what have I got to do for running to catch
Just
up?
athletics. Just an athletics check. Means you move one square.
Okay. Shall
Basically, yeah. Jumping out, you vault. You basically, as you fire your shot as you vault over a gap. Unfortunately, the shot misses, but your feet stand firm and you land on the other side of the gaping precipice, the ground 50 feet below you.
Okay, how close do I have to be on this kind of map to be able to use my whip? It's got to reach a 2.
You have to be on the same column.
Yeah,
You'll have to be on the same. You'll have to be on the same card. So you'll need a raise on your athletics roll to use a whip on the 2G people.
No, I didn't want to use it on them.
Yeah, you can't use your whip on Deliverance because she is.
Oh, wait a minute, hang on. So there's an athletics with a raise, so you move over 2 squares, which brings her in melee range, theoretically.
Melee range for the Ace of Clubs column, not for Deliverance.
Yeah.
No, not for Deliverance, no.
Okay, can I still take an action since I'm,
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Because you haven't used an action.
Yeah.
moving a free action.
Moving and running are not actions, so you can.
Yeah, so I don't need to. Did I run then? Is that why I need to do that? So I didn't need to do an athletics roll for doing that, did I?
Yes, you do.
Yes,
in
you
a
do.
chase, in a chase, you have to make an athletics roll.
In a
Keep
chase,
up.
you can either make an athletics roll for normal movement, and then you can do other actions. And if you do more than one, you get multi-action penalties.
Do you know
or
it's
you
a
can focus on just moving, and then you make your athletics roll at +2.
it's a stupid rule. So you can move, or you can do the run fast maneuver, which is your action.
Silly about it. I'm going to have a problem. Given every edition has different chase rules, these chase rules work rather well, I think.
It's like me talking about Cthulhu Krakens. Cthulhu Krakens are technical attacks because then we end up talking attacks per attacks. You know? Just call them Cthulhu. Call them Cthulhu Krakens. It makes much more sense.
Stop! My brain's exploding.
No.
Now on top of everything else, the ghost appearing and all that crap, he heard my whip cracking behind him.
Is it next round now? Is it? All right.
It is. However, I've just spent a penny on one of the holiday gang members, so he didn't have to have a complication, which moved him down. Okay, now you can have the Ace of Clubs if you want, but it's a complication.
I'm just going to stand still and shoot someone. Yeah.
Well, first things first, you have to make an maneuvering roll at -2 as a free action. If you fail, it's treated as a critical failure because you're in a chase.
First things first, I'm going before him.
Okay.
3 of us rearranged ourselves here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the rope that I'm on, that's kind of pulling me upwards, still hasn't stopped going yet.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take a normal movement now because the weight's starting to balance out and it's slowed down. So I'm going to do a normal move, and then I might try and discombobulate Deliverance Holiday if I get close enough. And I don't, so I'm going to spend my very last penny. No, clearly the rope's run out and I'm stuck there.
Very last penny. Very last penny. We've been playing for 4 hours. You should have like 15 pennies by now.
No, I haven't got any.
To be honest, you lot give me a hard time about giving out bennies. You guys didn't run out of bennies when fighting the bad guys in the sawmill. His players did. Did you not? Did none of you respond and give them bennies on Sunday?
I
did, yeah.
Oh, you did.
I would like to point out though, they didn't fight the bad guys in the sawmill.
Okay.
They went wandering off somewhere else and got themselves ambushed after telegraphing what they were doing to the bad guys in the sawmill. Went wandering off, waiting around because they decided to contact Justice Ironbriar and tell him what they were doing, and would get him to help them raid the bad guys in the sawmill.
What's really scary is how bad they must have been rolling, because I gave them 1 million bennies each and they still ran out.
Yeah, I know. But like I said, they did call Justice Ironbriar and ask him to come and help them raid the guys in the sawmill.
Mr. William Money, sir. You're running along, and all of a sudden, obviously, you are basically the path you're on. You thought you saw a shortcut, so you ran down it, and now what you find ahead of you is a gaping chasm. It's a very long jump to the other side. You can your athletics check at -2, which is a success. Therefore, you successfully vault across. However, it seems to keep you in a bit of a detour. So that's your free action to deal with the complication. Now, what are you doing as your actual action for this turn? And you can run, or you can move if you want to, and then an action, or you can perform an action and then move if you want. Up to you.
Well, I think I'll just shoot one of them.
Okie dokie. Indeed. I know. I was just sitting thinking that.
Oh, that's terrible. I can't have that. Oh, it's even worse, man. Okay.
Okay. Now, if you are... now you get to make your athletics check to keep up. If you don't want to make an athletics check, we bump you back a square, because the idea being is the chase is leaving you behind. It's fine. You basically you keep up with the chase. Okay, Mercy Vancouver appears to be going next.
So I need to roll to move, right?
It's a roll to move, yes. And as I say, if you're planning on performing an action, you make an athletics check. Just want to run flat out, it's an athletics check with a bonus. Okay, so that means you can move 2 squares. Obviously, you don't have to move both the squares if you don't want to.
I'm moving up one because I want her in my whip range.
Yep, okay. There you go. You're in whip range for Mercy Vancouver, for Deliverance Holiday, sorry. Well, we know what's going to happen. You're going to have to get yourself distracted as you get the whip tangle. Basically, you crack the whip over your head to rip out, and unfortunately, the whip wraps itself around the beam going across. You lift yourself off your feet and land hard on your back.
And does a somersault, lands back on her feet again, and continues the chase.
Hey, I still had it.
Re-roll a critical failure.
Yeah,
I could use my whip. It wrapped around and I swung up another square because I had to. I could go.
Wow, unfortunately, you get to re-roll your critical failure. So off you go.
Oh, do I really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Look.
John Watt just played a card, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I interrupted the GM saying you do a somersault and land back on your feet.
Exactly. You actually did the somersault, landed back on your feet, cracked the whip out, and hit Deliverance with the whip. Roll for damage.
Oh, I can't do entangle with weight.
You need a raise to get entangled.
I think
you can re-roll, so you can re-benny it as well.
I think the one power. Hang on, let me check something here.
She probably don't want to be entangled to her.
Actually, I do want to entangle her.
You might want to, but it might not be a good idea to, given I know what's going to happen next.
Well, if that isn't good enough, then I'll just do the damage.
Do the damage, yeah. You need a raise for an entangle. A whip. Whips don't do extra damage, they entangle.
I can spend a power point for the extra damage.
Yeah, but you need to get the
damn map.
pretty map. Okie dokie. Okay, this one's panicked, so it gets to make a spirit check. Oh, I know what. Yeah, no problem at all. Know what's going to happen there? No problem. Panic state. He completely misses the. He runs over the same precipice that William Money vaulted over. It doesn't go well for him.
It doesn't seem to be going well for them at all.
Deliverance Holiday is up next. She is.
I shot him and it scared him and he slipped and fell, you see.
She is going to attempt to. She's going to make a break to get away from Mercy. She does. Getting her 2 squares ahead. And then she fires a Cult Peacemaker as Mercy as well. Hitting. Doing. Ouch. 2 wounds to Mercy as she fires viciously.
One second.
Benny. Oh, you soak one of the 2 wounds. Yep.
Exactly why I didn't spend my last penny before.
Always a good move. Okay, Jump Off Joe reappears and grasps for deliverance, becoming corporeal and misses. He can't spend bennies, so he literally passes through her to no apparent effect, but does freak her out quite a bit. And the Holiday Gang member over here, he's basically no, he's going to advance. Gonna try running. Oh no, he's panicked as well, isn't he? So actually, he needs to make a spirit check first. He fails, and he ain't going anywhere. He's staying where he is. Panicked means he automatically moves, doesn't he? So I'm just going to have him basically run 1 square. And that gets us to John Watt. Once chatted said it yet, but
Right, okay, let's try a Let's try a normal move. Right, okay.
Get to move a square.
I think what we'll do is we'll spend some extra power points and we'll cast. We'll try to taser the trailing Holiday Gang member.
Okay,
So
range of 10.
gonna,
Yeah.
Gonna have to pay extra distance for it, obviously.
Indeed.
So he makes a vigor roll.
Does indeed. You didn't get the raise.
No, just a straight up vigor roll. Bummer.
Okay, and then at the end of the round, the GM does that.
Hesitant. Hesitant needs to be in brackets.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Square black brackets.
Deal you a card
and
then.
a dollar sign. And a dollar sign.
Oh, the dollar sign inside as well.
Yeah, that might work. That might. It looks like that worked actually. 3 and an ace.
Did.
No, it didn't because it should have been the 3, isn't it?
Yeah. You have to get redealt until you get a card lower than a 5, don't you?
No, you just do. You get two cards and act on the lower one.
Yeah. Okay, so he hacks on the 3. Okay, Holiday Gang member, not Holiday Granger. That's an actress. Got the Joker bonus. Let's make a spirit check. He recovers his panic status. He's just going to go flat out run this round because he wants to get away from all this. He runs up a ramp, grabs hold of a pulley system, and goes whizzing ahead, whizzing ahead down the side onto a much lower level. Unfortunately for him, that's exactly where Jump Off Joe appears from. And he basically just appears right in front of the guy who basically has to make a terror check. Ooh, he makes it. Off Joe vanishes back into wherever he came from. Mercy Vancouver recovers from being shaken.
Okay, I move up 1, and I'm gonna do a persuasion roll, and I'm gonna tell him, "Sweet Mother of Mary, Deliverance, you've seen him. Joe's here. He wants the map. Hand over the map if you want to live."
Oh. Okay, I'm going to say that's a very good persuasion roll there.
Not usually one of Mercy's strong points, but hey, whatever worked.
Indeed.
Of course, having seen Joe probably was a bit persuasive too.
Quite possibly.
And the fact that everybody just got killed. So
Deliverance drops back and hands you the map.
And then I stand over at the edge of where Joe was last seen, and I go, "Joe, we got your map. For crying out loud, go get some rest. By the way, you could give this other dead guy here some lectures on about the importance of getting some rest."
Okay. So at this point, I would say, yes, she had to make her athletics roll because of the complications. So basically, she goes to stop she stops so fast, she nearly tumbles over the edge, manages to regain her balance, and then stops and hands you the map. Your money. The walkway you're getting on is looping back and forth all over the place. Well, what are you going to do?
Did she handed the map over, is she?
Yeah, she handed the map over, and I told her that that's what she needed to do to live. Please don't make me into a liar, Will.
Yeah, no, that's it now. So I'll just reload my gun. Yeah.
Are you going to keep jogging along to keep up with the chase, or you
I'll keep jogging along to keep up with him. Yeah.
That's an athletics roll. You'll drop back a square, or you can spend a penny. Yep, no problem at all. There you go. Gets us to John Watt, who basically, unfortunately, has hit a complication.
Oh dear. Mine is 2. And it's going to failure, treated as critical failure. We've just oh bother.
You can spend a penny to get another card, of course.
Yes, let's Benny out of the club.
2 of diamonds.
Two
You
of
don't
diamonds.
have to. You don't have a complication.
Don't have a complication, which I'm likely to fail. So, I mean, we don't need to catch her anymore, do we? Or do we?
No, she gave me the map.
That's all we
I mean, you
wanted.
guys. I mean, that's and you guys heard me tell her that all she needed to do to survive this was to hand over the map. That Joe wants the map.
So, yeah, I think what we'll do is just for an action. We'll run for an action.
Yep, just catch up and see what's going on.
Just catch up and go see what's going.
Yep, okay, that gets you 1 whole square.
That gets me 1 whole square, mate, with me bad leg.
The amazing Adolfo
Also is on a
has a common
club.
complication. Unless you want to spend a penny, get rid of
What
your
penny?
club. You've got a bet. You should have a penny.
Oh, I do, don't I? But no, I'll take the complication.
Okay, go for it. That will be a maneuvering roll at -2.
And I'll
That's a
spend
crit
the
fail.
penny on that. That's all right.
Indeed. That's okay.
Since Mercy's probably in range, I can hear what she's just been on about, the dead guys and talking about. I'm just going to turn to John Watt, who's caught up with me. Well, it seems that she's obsessed with dead folks and is friends with all of these people here. I think we should just leave it to her. What do you reckon?
I don't know. I think she sees dead people. So,
Well, I'm inclined to believe that that is so. She does see dead people an awful lot of the time. Maybe that's why she's so obsessed with me being dead. I don't know. Women.
Brilliant. You're right. Yeah, hesitant kicked in, so it's inside square brackets $ hesitant. That's very useful.
Yeah.
I like that. At which point, Jump Off Joe reappears. That's it. I'll do that.
You said you wouldn't rest until you got your map back. I got your map back.
Lying. I think he lied to you.
I think he wants them dead. He sees dead people too.
Two wounds.
Yeah, basically, he plunges his hand straight into Deliverance Holiday's chest and grasps and takes an icy grip of her heart. Deliverance just crumples to the ground. Adolfo.
Well, she certainly knows some very nice people too, dead or alive. Well, I think we're done here. I'm going back to the bar, and I shall do the take the fall back that I can up to twice, which I think takes me back to the bar. And
It does indeed. you
I'll
fall
go
back to
I'll go and order a drink.
Yeah, sounds sensible to me. Holiday gang member, I think is going to have to make a spirit check. He's fine, but for the sake of argument, I'm just going to kill him.
I'd just like to point out, Mr. Ghosty Fellow, I did actually kill half of them for you, so I take it we're done here.
Yeah. I was going to say, basically, Jump Off Joe appears in front of the last guy as he's running away, and he just makes a sliding motion with his hand, and all 4 ropes that are holding the guy over the highest point of this whole place, right over the massive 20-foot high stone spire directly beneath it, 40 feet below, all 4 ropes snap at exactly the same time. All 2 of the 4 ropes snap at exactly the same time on one side. So the panel goes 90 degrees and the guy plummets 40 feet right on top to the sharp point of the stone spire. And with that, Jump Off Joe turns and looks at you, Mercy, nods and fades away.
I'm standing there holding his map, going, "Now what the hell?" And I tuck it in my pocket with other
Indeed.
stuff.
Matt from Ben Luck and Study. Yep. So you've now got another
The
map.
other's already gone back to the bar by the time this happens.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And I won't mention. I'll just let them think that Joe took the map and left.
Okay. Jump.
I'll rejoin them in the bar.
Okay, rejoin them in the bar. At this point, it's filling up a bit, the Erie. At this point, so it's mid-afternoon and everyone's sort of obviously taking an easy day, and the bar's filling up and people are talking to each other and telling tales and all that.
Well, that was an interesting state of affairs there now, wasn't it indeed?
Yeah, I gotta see if this little mining bird has a doctor, because I seem to have picked up a scratch out there on them ledges. Must have caught a hook or something.
Aye, that you must have done. You have an interesting bunch of friends, so you do.
Any friendships there?
All right, acquaintances then, if you prefer to put it that way.
And I reach around behind his head and I poke my finger in the hole and go, "And apparently so do you." And I walk over to the bar and get me a drink.
Good.
Sure, and the woman's obsessed, so she is.
Maybe you just like sniffing the inside of your bread.
I'd ask you to repeat that, but I think I'd be even more disturbed the second time you said it.
Getting some whiskey.
And I shall start recounting the story of how the ghost of Jump Off Joe has been exorcised by those that pushed him to his doom, rather than him actually jumping, have themselves been pushed by him, and he will be haunting the walkways no more. For I saw it with my very own eyes, so I did. The ghostly creature, he stepped out and accused Miss Halliday of stealing a map to some distant treasure. And she and her compatriots, they ran, going up and down, left and right, swinging on ropes. But the ghost, he'd disappear into the cliff face and come back out. And every time they grabbed a rope, it would break in their hands, and each one after the other, would fall to their doom, until, at the very last, 'twas only Miss Halliday and Jump Off Joe himself facing her. She reached out, holding the map in her hand, and with a shuddering quiver to her arm, handed it over to him. He smiled a smile, took the map in his ghostly hand, and it disappeared, even as he reached out with his other arm, touched the rope she was holding, keeping her steady on the walkway, and down to her doom she fell. And even as she went, I heard him whisper, "I shall haunt this place no more, for I have had returned to me that which is mine."
Let's have a performance check.
Oh!
Oh dear.
Now we really need desperate times.
Yeah. If only somebody had desperate times.
Okay.
Hey, is
Okay.
that one nobody's had today, Patrick? I might have a card you can use. You'd have to be the judge.
Oh, that gave me a console error.
I could indeed, but I'd have to have a Benny, and I don't have one.
Nobody's got common bond.
No.
That's a shame, isn't it?
But actually, I could give it to Will Money. Mind you, it wouldn't make a difference because I still don't have a Benny to re-roll with.
I'm getting console errors just because you're handing cards around now.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I'm just saying.
Towards the end of the game, it's use them or lose them.
Well, I can do that. I'll pay a penny to find that. What's the card you're looking for?
Desperate Times, which would let me re-roll.
Right,
let you
yes.
play the card from before, which would let me re-roll because it's the card player that gives me a re-roll.
So is it the Deadlands Wild West player card? Where's the deck?
Just tell Kev you're doing it. It'll be
Kev,
fine.
I'm doing it. Okay.
So then I can re-roll.
Mr. Benny.
So he's going to search the deck for desperate times, play desperate perfect timing.
Give desperate card times to
No, you search the deck for desperate times, then you
and then
play
give it
desperate
to
times.
Adolfo, yeah.
No, then you play desperate times.
And then I'll play desperate times.
Which means I can re-roll my performance check.
And then
Someone stole 2 bennies off me.
I haven't taken any bennies off you.
Yeah.
And there you
Put
go.
down
Then I
2
got a
bennies.
raise.
Yeah. So that's the 3. So he's just basically played 3
Oh, it
cards
already
in a row.
takes a benny automatically when you play the card. Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
So I need a benny back. On my benny back.
It's
benny
okay.
back, benny back.
We're ending the
I
game
want
here
my
anyway.
Benny back.
But
Give
hey,
me
that
my
means I
benny
go
back,
from,
benny back,
that
benny
means I
back,
go
benny
from a critical failure to getting a point of conviction.
Excellent.
Yes.
It also
but-
means you didn't raise the fear leveling gun sight to
No, I lowered it instead.
You
Yeah, I
lowered
lowered it instead.
instead
That
of
was a
making
bit
it
timber
a 5.
shifting, but we got there.
Nearly got a bit close at the end there. Well, hope you enjoyed that one.
Well, thank you very much.
Indeed.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Mercy.
Okay, that matters.
Yes, indeed.
But it could have been.
It could have been. It could have been, and possibly in some ways it could have been cooler if I'd thought of that. But it definitely wasn't. At least it didn't. You don't think it was. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. I was quite glad to head you out that way, drag it out a bit to make it sort of obviously very very much a case of sort of very slow burn today because no one's here. Next week, hopefully, we can pick up the story again as you continue the investigations. But I had a blast anyway, so thanks very much. See you
That's
all
always
next
fun
time.
to talk to ghosts.